Yeah, would you look at that flux capacitor with the Canuter valve connected to a stick of RAM? Yeah, you gotta look at it, William. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is Friday, and I'm excited. I mean, it's a Q&A. We have fun, and halfway through the show, we just get into a rabbit hole of car audio topics, so make sure you stick around. And William, you know, you just got to look at it. You just got to look at the Kicker Cave. Appreciate you tuning in. And without further ado, let's kick this off. Oh, yeah. See you in 3 minutes.
Uncle Bobby B, baby.
So we kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well, man. I hope everyone's staying warm, and the kicker is kicking and telling me to look at it. What am I looking at here? What am I looking at? Let's get it going. Get it going. Green team. Let's get this party going. Are we ready? Are we good? Let's do it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's Friday. We're back. Garrick is messaging me. Hey, is the show happening? Of course. Of course it's happening. Tuesday and Friday. We are back. Full Tilt Boogie. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Tuesday, I got a really cool idea show to do. Of course, we're going to have some guests on in the future, but I wanted to do something different for Tuesday. And if you're in Kicker Club, you might be able to see what I'm going to do. But either way, thank you for tuning in tonight. It's a Q&A platform. Let's talk about kicker stuff and L7X enclosures. Someone's already got them, or do they? We're going to talk about it. Appreciate you all tuning in, and you know you just got to hit the like button. Thank you, William. Let them know. We got 21 of you guys watching. It just clicked up to 8 likes. Appreciate you. And just look at the like. Just look at it. And then hit it. Thank you, William. Appreciate you tuning in. You guys are awesome. Jason Roach, what is up? Appreciate that you're here tonight with us. We're going to have a blast. I'm just happy that my computer didn't blow up and everything's working fine. I did have to throw this up because during the show, we do the intro, and sometimes the caboose likes to throw some coal into the engine to get it going. Thank you, Cornut. Appreciate you for just gifting a membership, man. And thank you for all that you do and being here, man. And one more member to the Green Team.
Green Team.
Thank you so much, Cornut. Appreciate you. Thank you all for tuning in. And Anthony, what is up? Please tell me more about the new Kicker Comp Q. Oh, man, I still need to build a proper enclosure for that thing. It definitely does the job in a prefab, but I feel like I'm still limiting its performance. But just by, hearing that thing free air, hearing it in an enclosure compared to a CVR, Comp VR, same thing. And holy moly, it's just got some tonality to it. So I'm excited. Man, you guys aren't going to let me sleep tonight, are you? You ain't going to let me sleep. The kicker is kicking. It's an awesome sub, and I know people usually ask about the L7Q, if that's coming back. Hopefully it is, but the Kicker Comp Q is here. It's got forced air cooling, blue stitching, just all the inputs for the terminals are one side. I do like that, which is different than pretty much every other kicker you buy. And it's the SQ driver of the Kicker Comp. Let me know if there's something in particular you want to hear, but we got to get to CAE that gifted 5 memberships to the Green Team.
Green Team.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You gotta look at it this way, okay? You just gotta look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
Thank you for making us look at it, CAE. Thank you for tuning in, and keep up the content, man. This guy pumps it out like it's nothing. And, just the long form videos are in. Maybe not exactly live streams, but, just doing something, building a wall, doing things, talking about how things work. Keep it up, man. Appreciate that you're tuning in here tonight. You guys are awesome. All right, let's see here. Cornut, Pacific Northwest. Oh, we got to throw it up. We got to throw it up now.
Thank you for supporting Andy. Your super chat goes a long way. Pacific Northwest, baby. Stay living loud.
I should have brought my terrible towel, the Steelers with Russell Wilson from the Pacific Northwest. It might be their last game, but either way, I am excited, and we got a Steelers cookie cake. That's all I need. If we win, that's great. If not, no biggie. Let's see. Blake was gifted a membership. Would you look at that? Would you look at that, Mr. Blake? He is part of the Patreon, and I know we had a new Patreon, Gary Thompson. Appreciate you, man. And I threw that. I was going to throw it on the top. I started to do it. Actually, I did. It is right there. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? It's perfect timing. God, it's like 6 cents or something. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm just trying to unravel the show as I normally do, but yeah, I was trying to update all the Green Team members too, but we have 225, give or take, 160. Either way, it's a lot. It's a lot. It bounces up and down because you guys gifted, but literally over 100 that have been on the Green Team for more than 3 months. You guys are amazing. Basehead 30, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Hope you've been well, man. Hope you've been well. Jason Roach, again, thank you for tuning in. And the weather is fine here. I mean, we've been having some snow up in PA, but I seen on Facebook, I'm glad you brought this up, John Myers down in Stillwater, Oklahoma, a.k.a. Kicker HQ area. They got snow. This is the first time they got snow this year, and I am definitely not complaining, but maybe we'll get more snow up here. It's enough. I mean, it is impeding work travels here and there, but again, not complaining for that either. Thank you, Shoop Dog. Appreciate you. I just got it in today, too, and I had to throw it on. And I wanted to get something that, emulates Kicker, Living Loud with Andy. I mean, it's Living Loud. It's in the name. And it's just the Kicker series of Living Loud with Andy swag. And I had to get it in a high-quality hoodie. I have two versions. There's a cheaper one. This one was like $50 plus $15 for shipping, so it was expensive. But it's the same weight as the Kicker hoodie. If you have the Kicker hoodie from kicker.com, you know the quality of it, and it is nice. It is thick. It actually keeps you warm outside. I don't wear jackets, so I needed something nice, and I do wear the Living Loud with Andy hoodies almost every other day. I switch it up with Kicker here and there. You know, you never know what you're going to get. Thank you for tuning in, Shoop Dog. Appreciate you. You are awesome, man. Kick the like. You just got to kick the light. Or I don't know. I just got to get a kick camera down here. I mean, we got a computer camera, fish camera. We got everything. I do not have a kick cam. I might need to add a kick cam to kick the like. Appreciate you, Shoop Dog. Cedric, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. I know we need to get you going with your voltage regulator. I have been catching up on a lot of things at the house, and now work's starting to pick up a little bit, so that is good. But we'll get you going, man. We will get you going. Holidays, you think you have so much time, and then you watch Netflix, you binge the entire Squid Game series, and then you get nothing done. LX amp prices yet. Thank you for tuning in, Randy. I do not know yet, but I do say this. If you're familiar with the KX or KXA line amplifier prices, then you might know what you're kind of getting yourself into, where the KXA 2400 was pretty much around $1,000, give or take. So I would assume it's going to be right around that for the 3000. Thank you for tuning in, Randy and SDK with the pennies. He's talking about snow, rain, something like that. Thank you so much, man.
I got pennies.
Oh, look at that. We got our first snow in 5 years today. Kid hates it, man. I know, Georgia, that's crazy. Everybody's getting snow. If you live somewhere, you're probably getting snow unless you're electro, that just, it's like bare minimum 70 degrees all year round, which is amazing. But that is cool. And snow angels, do them. You gotta do it, Jake. You gotta do it. You gotta throw the snowballs at them. You gotta have some fun. Thank you so much for the pennies. Appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, we put the hat sideways tonight, you know, like one of them like 80s like rappers or something, you know, 90s style, you know, putting it sideways. He's looking all right, man. Thank you again for the penny, sir. Why is all the Kicker clothing all out of stock? Good question. Sandy actually commented, because I tagged her in the post that I made about this LED light right here, and I was like, just look at it, you know, like, it's simple. Look at the link, check it out. And I didn't even notice that it was out of stock, and I was like, you know, Sandy, like, is this like end of life, or there's still more available? Because I know how it is with the merchandise on Kicker's website. You know, sometimes it's really there and it's just not up yet, you know, and just what have you. They were talking about they had to redo a bunch of stuff for like legal purposes, you know, for some kind of new trade clause or something like that. I can pull that up on my Facebook over here, but yeah, that might be a reason why the merchandise, I thought it was just that because of like maybe Bluetooth or some kind of like, you know, FFA regulation. I don't know. I'm not flying drones, but you get what I'm saying. Some kind of regulation that is different that they have to do. So yeah, let me go take a look at that. I actually do have that up over here. We always have to have Kicker on standby here. Let's see. Support. Gear. Is everything out? Oh, wow. Yeah, here. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up what Sandy said. Okay, that's Kicker Club. We got that. We need to go to my page here. And then we are live. Oh, look at that. Awkward. Why is that awkward? I don't know. It's just, oh, man. All right. Okay, there's the Hertz locker. Sandy Moore says we have all, if you can see this right here. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can just take a look at it a little bit better here. Uh-oh. Okay. Sandy says, we have all promo on hold while we gather some certificates of compliance for a new law that was passed on the 1st. It's in stock, but we have a while before it can ship. Sorry for the inconvenience. Hopefully it won't take too much longer. So there is that. I'm glad that she responded. Thank you, Sandy, for all that you do on the merchandise side. You know, I love Kicker swag. I mean, it's good stuff. You're definitely you're paying a little bit for it, but it's just like the product, man. They're not gonna just sell you stuff to sell you stuff. So that is why, and when it will be available, hopefully soon. Thank you, Frank the Tank, for tuning in. Hope you've been well, man. And he knows that sometimes you just gotta step back and look at it. Would you look at it? Would you just look at that? Would you just look at it? Just look at it. Thank you, William. And speaking of looking at something, I wanted you guys to look at the SJC Living Loud PC. And I actually just upgraded to 4 RAMs. 4 RAMs. 4 32 gigabyte sticks of RAM, 3200 megahertz, whatever things. Just added 2 more of the exact ones that I already had, just so that whenever I have all these things going in the background, they don't stop and run out of virtual memory, or however that stuff works with the browsers. I was just running out of memory, and I'm like, but how though? I have 64 gigs. Let's just try this, and we'll see if it works. But either way, why not? And appreciate SJC for all the tech support stuff that he does. And, you know, you guys that are in Discord, you guys all know about computers. I feel like a noob, but I'm learning. Thank you, Will, for letting me know how to look at it. You just got to look at it. That's all you got to do. Thank you for tuning in, Blake. Appreciate you. How you been, sir? Mr. Professor Blake. And we got Kibo. He's getting me up there. Kibo. Love you, Kibo. Thank you for tuning in, man. And thank you for all that you do, sir. Adrian, what is up? What is up, Kicker fam? Man, we got a lot of the OGs in here tonight. I appreciate you for hanging out, tuning in. You guys are amazing. We got several inches of snow here in Kansas. That's crazy. Snow is everywhere. Mike, what is happening? Let's see, where did I miss? I thought Mike was here. El Fuego's got a question. How many cubes for the L7X18? Could it be around 8? And, you know, I have actually been having conversations about this already. I mean, I have, but now that we're really close to something coming out like that, I'm starting to ask more, like, you know, would this work? And I think 8 would be perfect. You know, in my estimation of what the original Solo X18 would work in, 5 to 10, but 8 was like the sweet spot. And I feel like that 8 is still probably that sweet spot for the Solo X18, aka the new L7X18. I mean, Kicker's probably going to recommend, because you think the 12 is what, 3 plus port area, and then the 15 is 5 plus port area. So probably 7 plus port area, or maybe a little like that 7.5 to 8. So I feel like that would be definitely understandable to be the range. Thank you, El Fuego. I hope you're feeling better, buddy, and thank you for tuning in. And now El Fuego wants the 18 now. Do it, El Fuego. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Uncle Bobby B, baby. There he is. We got to play it. Roll it.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
Thank you for being here, Bobby. Thank you for always tuning in. Love you, buddy. Can't let Cookie's legs get flappy. I know, it's just like a suspension on a speaker system, you know, on a subwoofer, whatever have you. You know, you keep going, like it gets a little loose over time, but you know, it depends how it's made, you know, and how far you're flexing it. And even whenever they get a little floppy, maybe they move a little bit easier and become a little bit more efficient too. There is always that. Thank you, CAE, for tuning in. He's saying morning. Morning. I mean, it could be someone's morning. We know him. William, would you just look at it? That's half the show. You just got to look at it. That's literally it. That's it. L7X18s in an isobaric is like 3 cubic foot net. Yeah, man. Yeah, you could probably do it in isobaric. Yeah, configuration, man. I mean, that is like what Kicker emulated their drivers to be, but as one. That's why it's the solo barrack, because then would it be a quad barrack? I don't know. But either way, yeah, I think 3 cubic feet would be a little bit on the small side. I had my Solo X18 originally like 3.5, and it was like just what the sub came with. It came with the box and the sub, and it was tuned to like 50 hertz. The port was like way too short, way too big, but it was a prefab, and they made them for that at one time, surprisingly, right? But then I upgraded to 5 cubes, and then, you know, plus port, and the tuning was like 37, 38, and I want to say it was 1.5 by 29, so like 45 square inches of port area roughly, or 50. So it was a little bit low on the port area too, but it sounded really nice and didn't need a ton of power to get loud. Pretty much a prefab 18 box, that was, seems like. Gary is me. Oh, why am I not putting 3 and 4 together? 3 and 4. Of course it's 7. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? CAE is, why did I not think of that? I'm thinking, oh, this is some new guy tuning in. Thank you, CAE. Gary, yeah, meow. Cedric, just started snowing. I'm gonna have to take a look, man. I know we're gonna be getting some snow this whole weekend, so we'll see, man. Thank you for tuning in, dude. Hope you're doing well, dude. Celio Bance, hello, sir. Watching in the Philippines. Stout F1 Disco Mobile, Soto. That is awesome, man. Thank you for tuning in from all the way in another country, man. That is awesome. Glad you're here. And if you got any car audio questions, man, maybe Kicker too, drop them down below. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, we're live on YouTube. That is where the party is at. Alabama, oh, Canada. And speaking about Alabama, I had this queued up here. Crutchfield recommends no more than 30 amps in my 2000 Honda Insight. Guess I won't be living loud. And honestly, let's be real now. How much power are you going to get out of your stock alternator after everything else is being used? Probably about 30 amps, unless you have the heat off, the AC off, the headlights off. Like, headlights can pull 10 to 20 amps, you know, and you only got 110 to work with, or 100, or maybe 80, because Hondas are small. Depending what you got. Honda Insight, yeah, it's like the crossover, I think, but or that's a little car. Yeah, it's probably got like 80, 90 amps. Either way, they don't give you much for the auxiliary, or, you know, just added accessory power, and that's why you grab the aftermarket high output alternator, or you just beef up on the batteries and rely on capacity. So there is always that. Don't worry about, you know, what they say, only 30 amps, but realistically, full tilt boogie, that's probably the most you're going to get with all your things going on. I know in the wintertime, you know, you got that heat crank, the headlights on, the windows up, and just how much more do you got left from your alternator? Maybe half. Thank you for tuning in, Alabama DS. I'm definitely not a snow person. I got plans and ideas for Praisinator that had to be put in action. And you know what, Garrick? I need to bring this up. Don't ever say you're going to trade the Praisinator. I seen that about the Mustang. You're not allowed to trade that car, okay? You can't do it. Don't do it. We got our first snow. Okay, I'm catching up. I'm so far behind. Mrs. Cornut is in the building. Thank you for tuning in. She's like, I'm stealing the caboose off of him tonight. Cornut sleeping on the couch. If he steals it. Ryan FYB, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Sean Lynn, what is up? How you been, dude? How you been? How you been? And I did actually have that up here. Let me see if I could pull. Yeah, this is it right here. Sean shared this through the Living Loud with Andy /uploads, link in description. So this is just an updated photo here of his build, and that is awesome. Let me take a look at that. Won't let me zoom in. Yeah, I'm trying to do it on the fly here. But either way, that is awesome, man. Look, JL. I mean, you know, we do kicker here, but I mean, JL makes amazing stuff. And if you say they don't, you're lying. You're lying. Kiva says, good Lord, I got rid of Facebook Premium and now I'm getting an ad every 1 minute or so. Is this what it feels like to be a peasant? Oh no. Wait, there's a Facebook Premium? I didn't even know that. I mean, I pay for the meta, but that's just for pushing things or whatever. And yeah, sorry, I don't know. I think it's automatic for the ads. I figured why not? But whenever you're a green team member, it's supposed to do it like barely at all. Like that's how the YouTube membership thing works. I'm just trying stuff. But we got a gifted membership from Green.
Yeah, yeah.
$20. $20 gifted membership. We're gonna get it to work. Seems like it's better stick. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for donating and gifting out more green team memberships. That is awesome. We're at 154. We'll see if that pops up. Give it a few seconds there. But thank you for supporting, man. And yeah, you know, just man, Christian Rebase, we definitely need more of it. We definitely need more of it. And hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. Working on it. You know, there's all these things that you want to do, and it's like you just chip at it. As long as you keep chipping at it, it's okay. And we got to pull this over here. We got the sub flex in here from Dean. Appreciate you again, man. And yeah, sorry, Keebs. Love you, man. I thought I had it set up so that you guys wouldn't get bombarded, you know, because YouTube, no matter if you don't put ads on things, it still puts an ad on in the beginning and you don't get nothing. So I could have it like that, but it doesn't let me do that if I monetize it. I have to put them in between. It's stupid. I could do it manually, but then I got to set it up with the Stream Deck and then I got to make a commercial. I've been thinking about it, you know, like right in the middle, like, all right, let's do today's sponsor. If you don't want to watch today's sponsor, pay for YouTube Premium. And I think that would be cool to do. And yeah. Quentin Christie, I got some older Kicker Solo L7. Does Kicker make recones for them? I messaged you about them. All right, Quentin. So the story with just normal kickers, everything but the Solo X or L7X line, they don't sell drop-in recones. And there's two ways to repair them. You can repair them by taking apart the entire woofer, by disassembling it without destroying the surround and keeping that intact to the cone, which is actually the dust cap on a kicker. And then salvaging the spider and sliding a new one in there, cutting it out. Yeah, that's the rigged way to do it. The proper way to do it is to do everything but taking it completely apart, and you can go to different websites to pick up the parts, the spider, the coil, and, you know, the tinsel lead connections and redo the entire thing. And there are places it can do that. I need to put his link in my description because who doesn't need a kicker recone? And he does them. And yes, we'll get you going. I got you on Facebook, and I will send you his information. And what you can do is you can actually send him your woofer, and he can recone that for you. But as in drop-ins, they don't sell them. YouTube Premium, I meant. Sorry, yeah, I know. I'll be logged into Bryson's YouTube channel by accident. I'm like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? This is terrible. It's terrible. Dobby, thank you for tuning in, Dobby. We gotta, oh, there it is. Yes. Yes, the Explode bucks. But the Sony Explode just kicking it, man. Just kicking it. Garrick says, I'm getting ready to purchase my new green team shirt. And I got you, Garrick. And I did I was able to lower the price on the green team shirt because I figure you guys want the LLC and just living loud with Andy on the side. You don't need nothing on the back to save $5. And it's on there, $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Order yours today. No, appreciate you, Garrick, and thank you for supporting, dude. Cornet's got the OG one. I rock my green team shirt often with the LLC. All he needs is the dab. Thank you, Cornet. Appreciate you, man. The Daily Bench is here. What is up? Thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you guys all been well. We're having fun tonight, and we are definitely looking at it. And that kicker is still kicking from Dean. It is still kicking. Just got to look at it, would you? Would you just? And he said, when in doubt, doobies, dubbies out. That's it. Andy, did you make sure when you debloated warm in what? Did you make sure you got the debotted warm in the PC ensures you have no issues? All I did and what I've been doing with my sister's computer by removing stuff, adjusting stuff, is killing the entire power supply section and pressing the button to make sure there's no lingering power inside of the unit. And yeah, I've done it too many times now, but this is the first time messing with this computer because there's nothing wrong with it. But let me tell you, the motherboard on this one is way better than the one my sister's has. It only had like one click on the top, you know what I mean? The one you flip up and actually locks it. Hers only had one. This has two, and it's like, it's in there and it's strong. I like it. You can just tell it's quality, man. It's a good motherboard, a Zorus Z390. I know it's older, but still, it's amazing. Did you just ram your computer RAM in? That's about it. You know, sometimes you just gotta ram it in, you know? God, you guys are getting me going nuts. Garrick with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, man. And it's Friday. Straight clipping. Straight clipping Garrick. Hopefully Cookie Monster is in the garage hibernating, and yes, he is. He is in the garage. I actually went in there to get some part for the pilot, for the navigation screen, and I got to look at Cookie Monster today. I'm like, oh, it looks all nice and sad and alone in here, but you're warm. You're okay. And yes, in the garage. And that's why I get nothing done in the winter, because I can't work in my garage. It has a Cookie Monster in it. Thank you so much, Garrick. Appreciate your support tonight. And just keep doing what you're doing, and appreciate what you're doing in the background for our Living Loud with Andy 10K giveaway, which we're getting closer. 9,466 subscribers. I'm slacking. I know. I thought I was going to get some stuff done this week, you know, like with some videos and stuff. And like, yeah, that just didn't happen. And but I got other things done, and you know how life is. But also having to get ready for Tuesday, and Tuesday is going to be fun because it's going to be a lot like this show on Friday, where it's a little bit laid back, which are fun, but it's not just going to be a Q&A. It's going to be a good show. I'm excited. Let's see. Good day, PSA. Good day. Mike. Thank you for tuning in. What's up, boys? Appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. Troy Underwood, best show on the interwebs. Thank you, Troy. Love you, man. And if we have to see you guys in the playoffs, his team's the Chargers, may the odds be in both of our favors. That'll be a good game. I mean, if you guys, what is it? You guys beat the Broncos, I think, or the Chiefs. Either way, we can end up playing you guys. And, well, yeah, the Chiefs would have to lose and the Bills would have to lose. But still, we could end up playing you guys. Love you, man. We got a light dusting in northern Illinois. Mike, 50 hertz, 40 hertz. Mike D. Love you, Troy. He is all over the place here. That's good though. You know, that's the whole point of streaming on Facebook. So you guys come to YouTube. We got 41 of you guys here tonight, and only 23 have smashed the like. Quit looking at it. Smash the like. Appreciate you guys. Can we talk about how the back waves from a speaker driver bouncing off the rear of a box affect the cone of the driver? You know, I feel like that. I'm not a subwoofer genius. I'm not. But you know, just with how that back wave and how the enclosure is. Say if you just have a sealed enclosure, so we're not talking any kind of port involved, because then that could change variables with how the back of the cone reacts. But in a sealed enclosure, that is how the speaker stops from moving or unloads at certain frequencies because of that pressure that's being built behind the cone. So the back waves of the speaker bouncing off the rear of a box affect the cone of the driver. You know, and I know a lot of people have tried to say, you know, oh, you got to have 45 bracing, you got to do this, you got to do that. Meanwhile, the waves that we're playing are so long, 32 hertz, 32 feet. You go lower, it gets longer, okay? So, like, you can't... How waves and sound work, and quarter wave, half wave, really talking quarter wave kind of thing, 1/3 wave of where, really quarter wave of where it's meeting of like your ear, but inside a box, you can't even get to that. You can't even get to one way. You can't even get the like a quarter wave because it's so long. You would have to have for 32 hertz, 8 feet, a quarter wave. You'd have to have 8 feet for it to have any kind of difference. So maybe that does make a difference on bigger builds. And how that works, I don't know, man. I'm talking above my pay grade, but still, like, it's like there's a lot that goes into it. What you really have to take away from it is just the air spring of the enclosure being generated from the woofer trying to move that air. And then if you have the port too small, it's going to create more pressure. The air is not going to be able to be relieved. The port acts like an infinite speaker. And if it's too big, you're not going to create enough pressure. You're going to unload. So that's pretty much the gist of that. Thank you, CAE, for the good question, man. Why does my name say Restream bot? I'm not a bot reap. For some reason, it puts it in there on YouTube so people can see what people are saying on Facebook. I believe so, or vice versa. Yeah, like that. Or like that. You sure you're not a bot, Troy? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? El Fuego, did you ever wire up the Solo Barrick 8-inch sub? I do, and I just don't have a purpose for it right at this moment. It's actually over here in the corner. Let's see if we can see that or not. Enhance, enhance, enhance. It's wired up right there, and it's in the 1.5, 1.6 cubic foot enclosure from Ground Shakers. And it works, man. I had it in Kayla's car for like maybe 2 weeks. And that's about it. I mean, it sounds good, and right now it's kind of just there, but I wanted to get it because, you know, everybody likes little drivers, and in an L7 square, that's pretty cool. And yeah, so we'll see. I did go to check on my Volvo. It's still not done yet, but Kevin was he was in a good mood, and we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done, and I'm excited for that because then I can start using some of these boxes, the Comp Cs, the L78, and do some comparisons and keep the control 95% of the same by using the same vehicle, aka the Volvo. I'm excited, and it's a wagon, so you can fit a lot of things in there, and I'll be doing a lot more side content with that. I'm excited. I know I cannot not have YouTube Premium. I got the family plan. Looks like doing it on my phone worked. Good. We had an issue last time. The gifted membership got refunded, and I was like, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. It's just technology, you know, like, redid everything on the computer today, then the mic wasn't working, restarted the computer, voila, it worked. And sometimes you just got to do things differently for them to work. And technology, we got to love it, but we can hate it too. Dude, what are you feeding that sub? Cookie's legs are about to fly off his body. You know what? Believe it or not, that is only a Kicker DX A 125.2 wired at 4. That is it. And that's where we're talking about that rear wave loading of the enclosure, limiting the excursion of the woofer. And that's why you want to have the proper box. But if you have an infinite baffle and you try playing 12 hertz, that's going to happen, you know, on not that much power. So yes, it's very important, but it's really cool though. I used the L78 for over here, but I had to apply more power to it, and it wasn't doing it the same frequency with the 12, and I'm like, nah, it's okay, and yeah, that's another video I want to do. Putting a 10 and a 12 in the same enclosure with a split enclosure. I think that would be cool because two different sizes, two different power, two different resonant frequencies, two different tunings because it's the same enclosure or whatever. Like, it's so much stuff with this. I love it. With no crossover, is that okay? Bumping a CXA 360.4 to QSS 6.5 components, the QS components. Now, without having a crossover, I mean, the only thing you're going to run into, excuse me, if it has the components in there and you don't have the crossover that they sell with it, the only thing I'd be worried about mostly is the tweeter, because then you're going to be sending lower frequencies to that tweeter, and you're not going to be able to hear the distortion too easily. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Now, the 6.5, just the actual speaker diaphragm, the normal woofer diaphragm, like the actual speaker, without the tweeter, without a crossover, isn't a game changer. The only thing you're going to run into is over excursion on lower frequencies. That's really about it. That's really about it, because I don't think they have a low pass on the top end of that. Maybe they do, they can, but I don't, you know, it's a full range speaker system. So you should be okay, but I would recommend in the future, or at least bi-amping that component system. You don't need physical crossovers to also cross over your component setup. And that's the cool thing about having the bi-amp. They're not built into the coaxials for the tweeter, so you have to cross it over somehow, and you can do it with your amplifier, kicker amplifiers. They have the off, high, and then, or low and high, and you would put it on high for the CXA 360.4, and I don't think there's a 1 and 10x switch on that, but at least put it all the way up, just so that tweeter is not playing anything below 4,000 hertz, because that is wasted information for a tweeter. Well, maybe not 4,000, but you get what I'm saying. Thank you, Paxton Norton, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Picking up the Astro van tomorrow. Now, Astro vans, those are, I feel like they're the perfect base SPL build vehicle to use because of the shape, the size. You got size, and maybe the Tahoes are nicer, and they still make them, right? But even that window, you know, and the dash, and just, you know, it's easier to be louder with something that is a little bit more angular or maybe a little bit more square compared to another vehicle. And the Astro vehicle is perfect for bass, man. That's awesome. Can't wait to see you rolling down the street. Springtime is coming, but now is rebuild session, man. We are ready to go. Let's see. Can you upgrade the leads or not necessary? On any speaker, I mean, you can't upgrade the leads. I've actually upgraded, I think it was this one here or the other one that's in a car still. Both of them have upgraded leads because I actually ripped both of them from Cookie Monster, like 2.0, I guess you would call it. The Wind Machine, the one that everybody knew of. Just the huge 14.5 cubic foot enclosure, tuned to like 24, 25. Like, it was a lot of wasted information. Did hair tricks. It was fun, but I was ripping, not suspension, but I was ripping the leads. So we had to replace those, and I actually put on the 10,000 watt variants, and the other one's got 5,000 watt per coil. So I have replaced those. Well, Seth did, and I mean, you can, but with the L7X, it's stitched in there, so you can't do that on the newer ones. But yeah, it'll help if it's a bottleneck. Otherwise, no. For power handling, I feel like the coil is going to go before the tinsel leads go, which should it kind of be, you know what I mean, not be a bottleneck for that. My El Fuego says, I need a drink. Hold on. Man, I should start going. El Fuego. My round Solo Barrack S10D. Those are the old school black and red ones. From 99, still sound fantastic. On 300 watts each, in 0.66 cubic feet sealed. And just that type of driver in a sealed box, it excelled, you know. And I know Kicker said not to put them in ported boxes, and that was because of how the suspension oh, there we go. Almost there, right? How the suspension was just designed. And, you know, just so it could be like efficient or whatever they were trying to do, but it could work very well in a very, very small sealed box as well. Didn't need a large enclosure. So, and for them to just stand the test of time and still sound amazing while doing so, that's the difference, I would say, you know, because there's a lot of brands out there, especially newer stuff. And if we're trying to compare something for what's better, what's going to last, whatever, and you try to find brand A and brand B, and we'll just say they're both 500 watt woofers or whatever, 300 watt, 2000 watt. We'll just keep it normal. You know, the one that's a little bit cheaper tends to probably maybe not test or stand the test of time quite as long as the other one that is. And that's just common sense. You know, you're obviously paying more for something, you should get more. And at least with Kicker, yes, you're paying more, but it's not like, oh, well, if I'm paying more, am I actually getting more? You know you're getting more. So it makes it worth it. And you still have something, what, 20, 30 years down the road? That's just incredible, man. And same thing with the amplifiers. I mean, amplifiers are still, you know, electronics, the capacitors, the FETs, things just go eventually, and you might have to replace them, but still, you know, it's gonna last. It's gonna last. Thank you, El Fuego. Appreciate that you're here tonight. Glad to see you back in action, sir. Thank you for donating. Living out, Andy. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, look at the flexing. They're flexing. There's no muscle here, but there's muscle floating up on the screen there. Would you look at that? Drop an emoji. Let me see him. It's annoying Kibo. What fell in the background over by Cookie Monster? Oh, did it fall again? That is my, hold on. That's my yellow arrow. That's my yellow arrow. And from the base shaking, it always knocks it down. And I still need to put something on there. That thing keeps falling every single time. Maybe it's a good thing that I haven't done it yet. Thank you, Randy G. I wouldn't even known. I'm glad you were looking at it. Ad blocker works somewhat still. Yeah, Dubby's trying to dodge them. Hit and miss. I've never tried those. Yeah, a little bit. Try not to. What, Kibo? That's Kibo. Yes. Let's see. The original Happy Gilmore. Thank you for tuning in. Has anyone done 4 L78 underseat crew cabs? Man, you know, I feel like that configuration, 4 8s, 4 kicker 8s, 4 square, circle, whatever you have, is kind of perfect. But with the crew cab, yeah, crew cab's decent size. It's not standard cab. So you got space. You should have a rear seat, suicide doors. I don't know about all quad doors. I'm not a huge truck guy, but you, just 4 8s firing in, port to the side or port forward, you know, and they just kind of work. And I know Bubba has 4 8s in his truck firing in, and I know he's waiting on those L7Xs. Now, if they were just make them in an 8 variants, that'd be great. Thank you for tuning in, Original Happy Gilmore. Hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate you tuning in. It's just a huge 6-cylinder, nothing special. Okay, there's that question again. Gotcha. I'm running. Yeah, I know. If you're new here watching, we got 46 you guys, 28 only hit the like. So we got some new guys watching. First time you're watching, I go through the comments nice and slow. So drop your comment and I will eventually get to it. And appreciate you guys. I gotta get with LAF. Paxton says, I'm running mids on full range and tweeters on high pass set to 200 max. Yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing, but yeah, you got to get that crossover range around like 2,000. Just because what's going to happen is that tweeter is going to be trying to play frequencies that it just can't. And then I wouldn't say it unloads, but maybe, you know, it's just, yeah, probably, you know, it's just like a speaker like a mid-range, we'll say, trying to play 40 hertz or 30 hertz, and it's just going to be causing physical distortion because the speaker diaphragm and its design just can't play that low. And who knows, maybe power input because of that lack of mechanical, you know what I'm talking about, just like how the speaker kind of like keeps itself together, free air or an enclosure, but tweeters are free air, so you're going to run into like more power being dumped because the impedance is going to drop just because you're playing way too low. Hopefully we get you going there, Paxton. Appreciate you, man. Barnaby is a good dude from LAF. Yeah, I got it now. That darn arrow. I need to write on it, but I wanted to print on it. Like something like subsonic super chat and like arrowed towards the kicker. But you guys already know that it does that. I mean, if you didn't know, you donate $1, it starts moving, which is amazing. But yeah, I just never stuck it on the wall, and then the base shakes it right off. It shakes it right off. Living Loud with Andy Bass Knobs, that is for the 10K giveaway, and I'm like 99% sure that we're going to be doing that with LAF. Thank you to Garrick for getting that going. A custom Living Loud with Andy Bass Knob, just one. We're not doing like this mass production thing, which would be kind of cool, but I feel like if we did that, we would have to go with our man, NGA. Will. Do you have the EcoBoost V6s over there? EcoBoost, that's those Ford Focuses. GTI Zane, thank you for tuning in. How do you set a gain on an amp? I've seen some use a multimeter, O-scope, or just by ear. Honestly, not every YouTuber influencer is going to tell you this, but a lot of things that don't have a KXA in front of them or an LX, sometimes with like mid-range, or if I'm just trying to see how something sounds, I just kind of set it by ear and play it low. Now, the proper way to set your gain to get the most out of your system with all things kind of being equal, which they never are, but you want to get close, is with an O-scope. That's the main way to do it, where you can actually see if that sine wave is being squared. Play a 40 hertz test tone, 50 hertz test tone, and it depends what kind of music you're playing. That's why like setting gains is not easy. If you're playing like just literally bass tracks, depending what they're recorded at, maybe set your gain at -5 dB for the subwoofer so that you're never clipping, but then you might be giving away things for maybe musical tracks that are recorded quieter. So you're never going to clip, and it's kind of safe to do that, or 0 dB full scale. So that or that. -10, you can get more out of it. And all I'm talking about with the 0, -5, -10 is just what it is it's quieter. 5 is quieter than 10. 0 is louder than 5 as that test tone that you play while looking at the O-scope. And, that is the main way to get it right, to get a foundation of setting your gain. But again, you can do the Steve Mead little handheld blinky light one. The LX amplifiers have them pre-built in with a clip detector, which is nice. And those are the easy ways to do it, but at the end of the day, even if you set your gain and then your voltage drops, or it could be a number of things, between the music that you're listening to is a little bit louder, and maybe the subwoofers are getting hotter and creating a little bit more resistance. Your amplifier's producing a little bit less power, and it starts clipping a little bit earlier. And that with the electrical. It really comes down to how long can you be clipping to not add damage to the coil by producing extra heat. And the best way to do it is, if it sounds too loud, it probably is too loud. That's the bottom line, man. If it sounds too good, it's probably too loud. And you can do that for a little bit of time, and then if you turn it down and then you're like, man, now I start to smell something, or you're playing it and then you start to smell something, that's even worse. So just play with responsibility, man. Thank you, GTI Zane, for tuning in. Appreciate you. We got a lot of new guys in here tonight. Thank you for your questions, your comments. That's why I'm keeping a thumbnail with a big Solo X, just so that you guys can look at it and be like, oh, look at that. That's a kicker. That's a subwoofer. What's this guy talking about? And here we are. So thank you. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Tuesday is going to be fun. We're going to get a lot of new people. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. 32 hertz isn't allowed. Oh, you're going to have to bring that one up with Aaron. All right, let me see. I'm working at quarter brainwave. I think we're all working at quarter brainwave. That's a good one. Thank you for being back, Fuego. I have missed you much, sir. Holy moly. Sean says, I have spent a couple hours tonight getting my tweeters active. All the speakers are running active off of my VXI 6 channel amp. Now, I've never used a component system. I've seen them. I get it. I feel like with a component system, you are stuck, not component, but like the components, like the crossover, the physical crossovers for the component setup. I feel like you are limited of where you want those crossovers to be. Even though that Kicker is going to give you the proper crossover, maybe you're trying to use that speaker for something a little bit different, lower power, and you want it to play a little bit differently. And you can do that by having active crossovers, and all an active crossover is either going in your head unit and setting the high pass or low high pass for a, 6-inch, 9-inch, like say like 80 hertz, 120 hertz, so it doesn't play the bass and extend, depending the full scale of what that slope is. So, you have more control rather than being stuck at 120, -12 on that physical crossover. So active is, I honestly think it's the way, and I've never tried the physical ones, and I wouldn't mind doing it, but at the end of the day, but the component ones with the crossover that's physical, what's nice about that is you can run that whole setup on one channel. We'll say you got a 4-channel, you got your left speaker, you got your right speaker, and then you got your backs, right? And instead of being like, okay, well, I want to run active, but I want to put a different crossover for the tweeter, you can't run, you'd have to put the tweeters on the front channels, and you have to put the separate speakers, the other part of the speaker, just the actual speaker cone, for like the mid bass, the mid range, everything else that's not the tweeter, on the rear set of channels, because you have to have 2 different crossovers. So then you would almost need another amp for your rear fill or any other speaker. So that's why the physical crossovers have their place, because then it's all together with one output or one input, output, whatever, each way. You just hook up the speaker and the tweeter like a coaxial to your left or your right or your back or your other back. That's the pro in that. So I just, I didn't even think about that, but now that I'm thinking about it, I said, would you look at that? Would you look at that? They do have their place, man. Active isn't, that's a lot of things, man. It's not always perfect. Anthony Adams, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Hope you're still hanging out on Facebook. General sub question, 118 or 3/8? Why? Well, I'm going to go with 18 just because it's more cone area. I'm just taking a guess. Let's think. 8 is... What would that be? 4 times 4 times 3.4. So 16 times 3, like 32, 48 square inches of cone area times 3, 150 square inches of cone area versus an 18 round would be 256, give or take. 270, is it 276? Yeah, 276. So you got like double the cone area with a single 18, and that's the thing. When you think about cone area, 888, what's that? I don't know, 1624, right? That means it's more than an 18. No. And that's just how figuring out the surface area of a speaker or cone area equates into just bigger is better. When you go and buy pizza, don't buy 2 12s, buy an 18. You're going to get more pizza. And yeah, I've never looked back since. Thank you for tuning in, Anthony. Appreciate you. LOL, that would be amazing. We got Eric N. Thank you for tuning in. Sup. And we got Ashy. Appreciate you, Ashy. I know Ashy's hanging out with his stashy of kickers. Just laying back, watching Living Loud with Andy, waiting for Tuesday. Appreciate you, man. There we go, GTI. Thank you, Jason. If you crank it up super high, get you a $50 O-scope and you can set the gains before eclipse. Right, and they do sell those. They might not be 1,000,000% accurate, which compared to a huge O-scope that's like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, or you can buy an SPL lab. But there's less what you can do with that compared to a true O-scope, which is good for like multiple channels and all different stuff, and comparison of just what an O-scope can do with its limits are pretty much unlimited with a true O-scope, but the handheld ones are going to give you what you need to see if that wave is squaring off. And you can do the Steve Mead ones, you can put the little tweeter in line, there's a lot of things you can do, but honestly, man, the more you do this stuff, you set it nice and low, you play different songs, you see how it sounds, you turn it up a little bit more, and that's how I did it for the longest time, because I never had the tools. I never had these things, and I set a lot, like my mids and highs, they're set by ear, but again, with the KXA, I can tell if I'm clipping. Oh yeah, that's too high, and I'm good. And I love that feature of the KXA, the LX amplifiers that are coming out any week now. I'm excited, man, and it just makes things so much easier. You don't have to buy an O-scope. You don't have to buy nothing, no matter what car you put it in, what system you're wiring up with. You don't have to worry about that. The gain lights up. The bass knob tells you if you're clipping. It's night and day, man. Even though that when you're giving a demo, you're driving down the street, those are two different things. If you're just driving down the street, you probably won't be clipping too much, but if you're giving a demo to your friend, that thing's going to be solid red. It's going to be solid red, and Wade says, oh, yes, for the pennies.
I got pennies.
Man, it is Snowmageddon everywhere. Please be safe this weekend for wherever you guys may be traveling out to, going to, driving your base mobile, shaking the snow off, whatever you're doing. Be safe out there. I'm used to it. I know Wade's used to snow, but I'm excited, man. I wish it would have came during, Christmas, but beggars can't be choosers. But thank you so much, Wade. Appreciate all that you do for Kicker Club, tuning in on the Discord, tuning in to the live show, and just being an awesome friend, man. Thank you for tuning in, dude. Let's see here. El Fuego. We're going to run a little bit long tonight. We got El Fuego here. Working on the next old school build, 2 comp gold 12s on an Orion 2020 2250 XTR, the Beast amp, the big red. Is that the red or black one? Either way, huge surfboard AB amplifier from back in the day. And then the Kicker gold letters, those things are awesome, man. I loved playing them in the cars that I've had them in, the Pilot, the Geo, the whatever you have it. They are awesome, and they just remind you of the original Kicker gold, and they're stupid efficient for what they are. Like, they don't need a ton of power to be able to do anything, and that's kind of the name of the game with Kicker. It really is. Thank you, Rob Sanchez, with the $5 super chat. Would you look at that?
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
He got that Kicker kicking, man. Appreciate you, Rob Sanchez. And again, Wade, you guys are awesome. We got Garrick, Dean, SDK, CAE, Corna. You guys, thank you so much for all your contributions tonight. And make sure you guys smash the like. We're only at 34. We got 46 of you guys watching. What's going on? All right. So is everything still working? Okay, cool. That's still working over there. So there must be a Google, because I had this page right here. This doesn't check the comments, but see how that says something went wrong? That out of memory, and I feel like that's okay, because that's just Google. I'm not using that for the fetching of the comments. I'm using the fetching of the comments with the Microsoft Edge browser and just how we do everything. And that one is still ticking, full tilt boogie. So maybe it's just Google Chrome, and I made a good choice. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I am totally fine with that. But let me check, because we are live here. I do a bunch of testing, but yeah, I'm only using 24 gigs out of 128, so we're still good. We are still solid. I don't understand why that pops up. It's just a limitation on the browser. Either way, more GRAM for the win. It's going. Wade's on Facebook too. Appreciate you guys. Oof. That's how I felt. Rest in peace to the timing chains. What are those? Those are for rookies. Now, sometimes I guess you need them. I've never used them. I don't get stuck in the snow too often. It's been a while. Andy, solo barrack, any good for an ISO barrack setup? I know that's you know, it would be a quad barrack because it would be two solos that are acting like an ISO barrack, and then you have an ISO barrack and an ISO barrack quad barrack, right? Because two is 4. I'm just mathing over here. So I feel like it would be like quantrophobic, almost ohmomatic at 0 ohms.
0 ohm. No impedance level whatsoever.
I think that's it. That's how it would be, you know, with 2 solo barracks and an isobaric formation. You know, I think you're breaking physics. You're doing something you're not supposed to, but you could try it. Thank you, Jake, for the pennies. Oh, look at that.
I got pennies.
He said, hit the like or you run Funky Pups and Boss Amps. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Boss Amps. Funky Pups, you know, I've heard about them. I've seen them. They look like this woofer that, you know, can just take a lot of power, handle it, have some excursion, efficient, just does everything. And then the Boss Amps, need I say more? Need I say more? Now, you know what? I got a Boss Amp on the top, and I still need a dyno. We got more dynos coming, but it's beautiful for a Boss Amp. And I should remember the name of the guy who designed this, but he designed a bunch of amplifiers. It's the one above that enclosure right there. And that thing is actually chrome. That's why you can't see it. It's reflecting the black off the box. That thing is chrome, and it's a Boss amplifier. Now, is every Boss amplifier like that? Not really. But do they last? Sure. Do they do what they say on the box? No. But do they match up with their subwoofers with that power rating? Yes. Yes. So, I mean, if that math is mathing, then so be it. But you know what? I'd rather run a brand that doesn't put numbers on a box to sell things, even though it might work, but to know what it's actually going to do, to have a better idea of what to match with any woofer for the most part. And that's why, like, even other brands that underrate their stuff, it's almost as bad to the point where it's like, well, I actually need 75% more RMS. The subwoofer actually can still handle that, and it's going full bore. It's working in my enclosure, and it's getting the loudest, and it's able to dissipate that heat. Why did you underrate it so much? It's just almost as bad as underrating it, other than not getting what you paid for. You are getting what you paid for, but it might be harder to match other brands. And if you just run Kicker, yes, and it does what it's supposed to do and a little bit extra, just so that you always get that. Maybe if your voltage isn't perfect, and just how RMS works, is that even a real number? Kind of, sort of, not really. It is for amplifiers. Woofers? Nah. Professor Blake, what's he got to say? The big problem with ISO in modern day is the port area matters more than the enclosure volume, and you need more port area in ISO with less air volume, so you end up being 99% port volume. Right, and that kind of makes sense, because you get all that motor force and with the same amount of cone area, and there's got to be a trade-off for that. So that's probably literally it right there. And with all that cone area, you would be able to create, or not the cone area, but that motor force, maybe you would be able to create more pressure, and you need that port to be bigger because of all that pressure you're able to create of that air spring in the enclosure, and you would be chuffing otherwise. So that's cool. I never thought of that, Blake. Thank you for tuning in, man. And that's why he is Professor Blake. Appreciate you, buddy. No rear seats and can only run 318s and a fourth. Not enough room for a 6-order. You know, and yeah, I mean, 4th order, 6th order, which one is better? Which one is better for the subwoofers you're running? That is the bottom line. You know, yes, you can gear it in a way to work better, you know, even with like the same driver and like, oh, well, I'm going for wind. I want to be louder on less power, and I'm trying to do it at like 13 hertz. Maybe a 6 order is a little bit easier to build. The enclosure doesn't need to be quite as big, even though it's a 6 order. Maybe it does need to be bigger, but it still doesn't need to be as big for the efficiency, the bandwidth you're trying to achieve with a 6 with the same sub compared to the 4th. But then again, it's like, what else are you giving up? Maybe you're giving up the accuracy of that bass. You know, anytime you go for, you know, off the spectrum of what that speaker is really designed to do, you start to give up other things. It's just, you give and you take, man. You really do. Thank you, Dean. And, you know what? I mean, as long as it bangs, bro. As long as it bangs. Interesting. Gotta leave chat, but I'll be listening. Love you, El Fuego. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Glad you're here tonight, dude. I foresee some crazy underseat builds in the coming future, says Wade. Yeah. That would be cool. An L7X 4-inch. I mean, we could just load it up then. We can load it up. What amp is better? Two L7X 12s on a Kicker 1200 Mono D or a Warhorse 3600? You know, the CXA 1200, if that's what you're talking about, or maybe the LX 1250, I think that's what it is. You know, the Warhorse is really a almost 5,000 watt amplifier, okay? And then 1,000, maybe 1,500 watt amp. It's really hard to even try to compare the two, because you're just going to get way more power out of the Warhorse, and that's the idea of the Warhorse, you know. And the price tag reflects that as well. $1,000 versus maybe, I think, what, $400 for the CX 1200. Yeah, for two L7Xs, I mean, that'd be perfect to match on a single Warhorse. If you do it with just one 1200 on two L7Xs, it's not that it's going to sound bad. It's not. It's just, it's not going to, you're missing, depending your enclosure, depending your woofer, and how that efficiency factor is with the vehicle, the enclosure, the subwoofer, the frequency you're playing, that whole nine. But when you put like 5 watts to it, it gets so loud. And you put 10 watts to it, it gets so loud. You double. Well, there's a point where like you double the power and you're going up more than 3 dBs. Like you're going up like 6 dBs. And then you start to fall into that territory of like, all right, now like I'm at 3 dB gain, 2.5 dB gain, which is really realistic. And then you start to diminish where you're only gaining a dB per double power applied, half a dB per power applied, you know, and that's where you're going to the other extremity of not gaining as much power that you're doubling. And, you know, if you don't put enough power on an on a system, you know, it's, you might not even get to that point of where like you're getting really loud. Like there's a sweet spot. And I feel like with the 1200, to get that sweet spot, you're going to have to build the enclosure very, very big, and you're going to have the cons that come with an enclosure that's really big. You're going to have nice, deep, low output, but then you're going to sacrifice the transients, the bass response, and maybe just higher frequencies in general. Do you like rock music? Say goodbye. You know, when you build too big or just a big enclosure that does really well on low power, I would run the Warhorse 3600.1 quarter J. Thank you for tuning in. That's why I do these Friday shows, just for these questions like that. And you guys can have fun and just look at it. All right. I got to speed through these comments. 46 people, 29 likes. I'm behind. We got 38 likes, 41 people. You know the deal. I usually wait for that to balance off. You guys are awesome. 38 likes. Can we get to 40? I know everyone's thumbs are tired from thumb wrestling today. They're like, I can't hit the like. I can't do it. I won't. I'm looking at it, but I can't do it. Yeah, that's a big difference in power. All right, lower frequency and more power. Yes, Professor Blake. 2 L712s is way too much power. Stick to the 1200. Ashy, well, maybe L7. Was it L7 X12s? I thought it was L7 X12s. If it's L7s, then I would go with the 1200.1 just so that you're not blowing them. But either way, you can get it going. You can get it going. Look at that. I heard the bass I love you, and then I just heard Bubba Fuck.
I got bennies.
We're gonna find Bubba. I know where John's at. I know where Electro's at. Electro is he's probably sleeping in this morning. He's all the way on the other side of the world, not the Pacific Northwest. Keep going. And so his time is a little behind us, or is it ahead? Yeah, he's in the future. Right, we're in the past. And yeah, we're looking for Bubba. I miss you, Bubba. John, I know you're doing your stuff, but appreciate you guys tuning in when you can. And we're looking for him. Them wings were worth it. He got some wings. You know, I had some what was it? Stuffed pepper soup with like rice and meat, like, you know, meat, like taco meat. It's amazing, and it's easy and always tastes better the second day. It's not from throwing up. It's from eating it the second day, you know, leftovers. And amazing. But wings, you know, I'm more of a tender guy, dipped in barbecue and then like tossed in barbecue and then, you know, dipped with like some ranch. That's my flavor, but wings, not bad. Love you, John. Thank you for tuning in, sir. All right, we are at an hour 15. I'm going to try to catch up on all these comments. Also, active crossovers can get you much better power handling and therefore more output. Louder sounds better, everything is better, right? And I feel like the only thing would be, like I mentioned, is you can put both of those together on one channel amplifier, but then, you know, is that really what you want to do? I love having control of everything, because then you can't change the amount of amplitude that the tweeter's getting separate from the speaker. You know what I mean? It's on one amplifier, other than one's at 8 ohms, one's at 4 ohm, and how that all works to make it still 4 ohm coming to the amplifier. You know, fun stuff. Either way. And he really needs to fix the kicker clock. You know what? I did that 3 days ago or 4 days ago. I got up and I almost knocked out that whole thing. It's fallen a few times. And now it's a little crooked and I don't feel like re-sticking it. It's still holding on there. Is the time right? No. Okay, so I already fixed that. And what happens is the hands sometimes get stuck from it falling so many times. The cat's going after it. Honestly, I need to replace the inner guts on that with a little newer setup. I mean, I've had that for like a year and a half. It's been a while. Sorry. Or are we just in the past? We're in the past. Dean says, I run a combination of active and passive crossovers on my front stage only to reduce the number of amplifiers I need. And right, and I feel like that would be it. And then, I mean, you never do want a double crossover, but at the same time, you can just use that, I guess, in a way to help adjust where the physical crossover isn't crossovering enough to what you want it to do, especially with like our rebase big wall systems. I feel like, you know, you're trying to get every ounce of that speaker out so that you can hear the vocals and whatever else you're supposed to hear, but nothing too low. And maybe that physical crossover isn't cutting it off quite low enough, and that you can still have that as a high pass crossover, and then with the physical crossover the tweeter in line, and it's not going to affect anything because you're just cutting off the bottom end. So yes, it makes sense to do that. Thank you, Dean. And there is that. Just ask John Myers. Rob Sanchez, how's that system makeover show coming along? I still need help. Let's go, Andy at Kicker. That system makeover show coming. Oh, yes. Ah, man, we're working on it. That would be a cool thing to do, though, to, you know, just help somebody. It's like pimp my ride, but kick my ride, you know? Like, That would definitely be cool, man. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you donating tonight, tuning in. Appreciate you, man. And yes, we'll get you help. I mean, these guys are awesome, man. Just over the years of doing this stuff, and there's some things that I need to test. And you know, if it's kicker, it's hard to let go. But there are some things I don't need. I don't need them. I want them, but I don't need them. And it'd be cool to give back, man. Thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate you. All right, there we go. That was that. I'm still far behind. Garrick says, I'm ready for Discord. I know I'm about to bounce on you guys. Ashy, you got more than one house of kicker stuff in it? Well, he's got a storage, 2 storage units, 3 houses. Steve Ilaya, I still have a pair of 15-inch kicker golds in the OG ones. Take care of them things, man. I still need to do the video. Jake, if you're still watching, I need that box. I need the box for the 215 so we can compare it. And my music is about to end, which you don't really hear too much unless I stop talking. Now there's nothing. And it's going to redo or repeat. It's real quiet. And I like it. Just it's there. I hear it. You guys do whenever I stop talking, which I never stop talking, but it's there. And we got to end this show. Let me scroll through here. Okay, Boss Amps, New Clutch Focus, W Eats Hot Dogs, Better Than Sideways. Oh my goodness, what am I reading? Chrome. So it's just Chrome gets it home. Yeah, how does Biden eat his? I don't know. I don't know. I think someone's got to chew it first. He would say Happy 4th of July and Christmas if it wasn't for his advisors. W is, oh my goodness. Mike! I'm glad I didn't read that one out. Oh my goodness. This is turning into the Discord. Tyler West, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Man, this has been a fun show. I was excited for Friday. I mean, I'm always excited for Friday. Tuesday, that's where there's a little bit of pressure. You know, we got some new people tuning in. The Rig-O-Matic 3000, if it's running full tilt boogie or not. You know, Cornut. Just Cornut. And, you know, normal stuff. Redneck Capone. The CXA 1200 is a tank. Awesome amplifier. Any of the CX amplifiers. 400, 800, 1200, 1800. All amazing stuff. And it's at budget, mid-tier. And they're efficient too. And that's something you got to take into account whenever you're building your system. Even though that amplifier might do more power and it's cheaper, is it more efficient? Is it going to need more power? And is that expense going to outweigh the cost you're saving on the amplifier by having to buy batteries? And that's something you got to think about. And he needs an explode clock already. I mean, I wouldn't mind throwing it in here. I mean, it's just part of the live stream now. So it has been. Andy, we know about square sine waves. Square and smooth sine waves. Can we get triangle, please? I think they do have them. It's not sawtooth, but they got a lot of different ways, man. Like sine wave is like one of many. Same thing with square. Square is just DC on, DC off, DC on, DC off. It's flat. And sine waves like a roller coaster. Woo! You know, you want to stay on the roller coaster. You don't want to fly off the roller coaster and hit the cloud, where the cloud is a ceiling and it's hard. You know, then you realize that you're in one of those sky boxes on a video game, and you need to get off the video game and cut out boxes. Oh no, it was a shot. Love you, Jake. Appreciate you, man. And love you guys so much for watching. And I will see everybody Tuesday. Make sure you tune in. I'll let you know later. It's a good topic. It's going to be fun. And have an awesome weekend. I'll see you guys on the Discord. And as always, stay living loud. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Thank you for watching. Thank you, Ashy. Thank you, Dubby. Thank you, Eric, Kyle, Ashy, Wade, everybody that's been tuning in tonight. Larry H is even here. Love you guys so much. And what the heck is that? Oh my God, what the heck is that? Love you, Ashy.
Living Loud with Andy.
And we got SJC here, living loud with Andy, tech support, and you would be proud I put in some... Oh, why is it not popping up anymore? My computer's all dark. Oh, no. Is it working? It's working. I think the camera moved. But we got some new...
Would you look
There
at
it
that?
is. There it is. There it is. All the RAM sticks are loaded. He's like, oh, why'd you do that? We needed more. I needed to gain all the way up. CAE coming in there with the gifted membership. You sure you didn't take over Cornut's account? I mean, Cornut, CAE. I get it. Thank you so much, CAE. Appreciate you, man. You guys are awesome. And even that outro just keeps on going, doesn't it? Love you. And as always, stay living loud. Oh, no. No one's coming in. No one's coming in.